we're exploring 10 facts about Quakers, and at the end of this video, you can comment which fact was your favorite. Hi, my name is Jeremy, and welcome to Elwyn Studios, where we explore stories of great American heroes throughout history. Fact 1. Origins. The branch of Christianity known to most people as Quakers was started in 1652 by a man named George Fox. About 30 years later, they came to America. Fact 2. Name. The official name for Quakers was the Religious Society of Friends, but because they were known to tremble or quake in the middle of their worship services, they were known as Quakers. They were also called Friends. Fact 3. Equality. Quakers believed that all men, male and female, are created in the image of God, so they were equal. This didn't sit too well with slaveholders in the 1800s. Quakers also dressed plain and simple wherever they went, like this guy. This was to emphasize that they saw kings and emperors as equals to slaves and servants. Fact 4. Speech. Quakers talked differently. Most people would say thee or thou when talking to one person, and you when talking to multiple people. The exception to this rule was when you were talking to somebody of a higher social standing. For example, when talking to a neighbor, you would say, "How is thou enjoying the weather?" If you were talking to the King of England, you would say, "How are you enjoying the weather?" Quakers decided to use thee and thou for everyone, and reserve saying you for God as a way of pointing out that all men are created equal. They sometimes got into trouble for this, like when they'd go to court and not address the judge as your honor. If speaking with the King of England, Quakers would say, "Wouldst thou like a bowl of oats?" Fact 5. Pacifism. Quakers were what some would call non-resistors. Because all men are created in the image of God, Quakers believed it was wrong for anyone to hurt anyone else for any reason. But some Quakers believed that certain things like equality were worth fighting for. Thomas Garrett recruited a former slave to the Union Army during the Civil War. General Nathanael Greene of the Revolutionary War was also a Quaker. He was, however, kicked out of the Quaker community because he was, well, you know, a general. General Greene, thou is no longer a Quaker. Fact 6. Education. Quakers believed education is one of the most important parts of society. As you know, all men are created in the image of God, so it's important that people get the best education possible so that they can become the best version of themselves. The same rule also applied to their view of teaching the Bible to their kids, but this time it was important that the parents were the ones teaching and not someone else. Members of a Quaker community would even have meetings to review whether or not their parents were teaching their kids properly. Which brings us to fact 7. Family. Family was very important to Quakers. Everyone had to agree before anyone got married. And if an outsider got married into a Quaker family, you could be sure that they were now a Quaker themselves. Fact 8. Days. Quakers didn't call days by their normal names. Instead of saying Sunday, they would say first day. Monday was second day, and so on. They talked like this because they didn't want to attribute names of the week to mythical gods, like Thursday and Thor's Day. Quakers would always have meetings on first day, but it wasn't like going to church. There were no organized sermons or worship services. Instead, they would all sit around in a big circle and sit in silence. And if anybody felt compelled to speak, sing, or pray, they would. Fact 9. Reputation. Quakers were highly respected in the 1800s, even though people knew that they wouldn't pick up their guns in the event of a war. They also talked funny, and they were probably part of the Underground Railroad, which was quite illegal at the time. Fact 10. Influence. Some of the first and most famous abolitionists were actually Quakers, people like Levi Coffin, Thomas Garrett, and Isaac Hopper. Did you learn anything new about Quakers? Or was there something in that list that you agreed with? Let us know in the comments, and click on this video here if you want to learn about a Quaker/abolitionist.